Hello there and welcome to this week's live Local and Loud with me, Kevin Gaughan. On today's show I shall be chatting to the amazing local singer-songwriter Sally Hossack. And as always we'll be playing lots of homegrown music by local bands. I hope you're all having a great week and are as fit and healthy as is feasibly possible. So let's kick things off with today's show, and here's Factory Girls' Never Seen a Ghost.
Seen a ghost written into words. I've never seen a ghost written into words. There's stories in windows you've never even heard. Cause poems and sculptures whisper those phrases. These skies are bitter, black and white, like a thorn in my side. You black and white, like a thorn in my side. You hold me so tightly, like a mother and child. I can never be sure how you flow through my wall when I sleep at night. When I sleep at
That was the wonderful Factory Girls and Never Seen a Ghost. Of course, they're playing tomorrow night, in fact, December the 3rd, at Duffy's Bar in sunny Leicester. They're supporting Product T, Family of Noise, and Not My Good Arm. That'll be a great gig. I don't know if you've been to Duffy's Bar for a gig, but it's an amazing atmosphere. It's great, and they've recently turned the stage around, so it's at the other end, which is lovely. So yeah, be great to see them. So that's tomorrow night, Friday the 3rd of December, Factory Girls supporting Not My Good Arm, Family of Noise and Product T, who are headlining. Now it's time for a little bit of Matthew R featuring Ironic, Don't Try.
You're so tainted, you're giving all this love but you faking. No mistaking, I be driving by overtaking. Girl, you think that you're smart. Take my cards like you're the queen of hearts. Joker, be the one that lets her heart. When I'm picking you up, you're bringing me down. Tryna rush it all up, slowing it down. Then you're hot and you cold, make up your mind. Cause I ain't got time to wait. Picking you up, bringing me down. Tryna rush it all up, then slowing it down. Then you're hot and you cold, make up your mind. Cause I ain't got time to wait. I don't want your love. Love is something that I never get from you. You keep me hanging on by when I hear no side. Don't try holler at me. I don't want your love. Love is something that I never get from you. You keep me hanging on by when I hear no side. Don't try holler at me.
Giving me fake love, I don't need that. You know that I've given you my time, now you see that. You can let your ex-man run and just creep back. Cause everything happens for a reason, I believe that. I swear to you I'll leave that. Yeah, now here we go again. Every time calling my line, you're feeling low again. Meanwhile I'm living my dreams, I'm on the go again. I know you wanna try and give a go again. Look, but I ain't gonna try, let's be really settled down. Cause I'm really ready now. So show me what you're really bout. Cause I'm fed up of your doubts. Do you wanna be my spouse or no?
No, I don't want your love. Love is something that I never get from you. You keep me hanging on by when I hear no side. Don't try holler at me. I don't want your love. Love is something that I never get from you. You keep me hanging on by when I hear no side. Don't try holler at me.
That was Matthew R featuring Ironic and Don't Try. Okay, now I'm going to play something from Prime. Now, Prime UK band, they actually split up a year or two ago, and this is their very last song they've just got round to releasing. They've only recently released it, and it's called Sorry.
Feel the lightning strike, you know I'm feeling the thunder. You know I'm sorry, you deserve better. I didn't mean to act this way, you got me under pressure. You know I'm sorry for what I said to you. I didn't know what else to say or what I'm supposed to do. You know I'm sorry. Oh, I really am. When the journey's rough, nothing ever goes to plan, you know. You know I mean it. You know I do. You know I mean it. Oh, when I look at you now. Oh, now. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Take much more, you know. You know I'm sorry for doing you wrong, and it hurts me so much lately. Now you're gone, oh. You know I mean it. You know I do. You know I mean it.
That was Prime UK band's last ever song, Sorry. Now it's time for my interview where I'm chatting to the ultra-talented local singer-songwriter Sally Hossack. Here's something to think about. If love was a hand grenade and you pulled out the pin, what would happen? Here's Hand Grenade Love by Sally Hossack.
You wouldn't like Star Wars when Alderaan dies. Would it matter? Would it split into two? Like when somebody breaks the moon. In that film we can't remember what's going to happen to the pin stuck in. We're a million miles from where we've been. Maybe everything will be arranged for him. Some people will move to Jupiter for the rings. And you know, if you pulled out the pin, I'd never be able to see you again. And you know, if you pulled out the pin, I'd miss all the things we could never begin. If you pulled out the pin, maybe it will consume me, this on which I lie. I can hear the grass growing. It's a tiny, tiny flower, but it's there. You wouldn't know. You get vaporized like Star Wars when Alderaan dies. But you know, if you pulled out the pin, I'd never be able to see you again. And you know, if you pulled out the pin, I'd miss all the things we could never begin. If you pulled out the pin.
That was Hand Grenade Love by the amazing local singer-songwriter Sally Hossack, who is this week's extra special guest here on Live, Local and Loud. Hello there, Sally. How the devil are you today?
Hi, Kevin. I'm very well, thank you. I'm very much enjoying the snowy weather. It's very beautiful and quiet out there.
It is. It's lovely, isn't it? I've just been for a walk and it's absolutely lovely. Just a bit, got to watch yourself underfoot, but it's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so before we get into the nitty gritty, can you give us just some background information for the listeners? Like, for example, how long have you been making music? I think you've been around now a while on the music scene, haven't you?
Yeah, I started out just playing on my own, doing covers gigs back I was sort of 20. And then I was very lucky to meet a band called Free Control, and we put together, well, I joined their band with a colleague, Mike Soul, and we formed a 5-piece then and made a fantastic EP, gigged all over the country, and we were together for about 9 years. I really enjoyed that band. We had an amazing time. We used to pack out venues, and I was very very lucky to work with some incredible musicians, but also visual artists as well. We always had backdrop projections and that kind of thing at our gigs. But the music scene in Leicester has always been so supportive and encouraging, and there's such a plethora of talent here, and it's so wide-ranging in its genre that I feel very lucky to be part of this scene. After the band, obviously I just went solo again. I'd been the songwriter on the band's songs along with my colleague Greg Shute, so I carried on writing independently and put out an album called Lulo in 2017.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I've just been watching the video to Lulo in Sweden. It looks like you made it in Sweden. Is that right?
Yeah, on a frozen lake in the coldest of Februaries.
That's amazing. Okay, that's brilliant. So you have been on the music scene for a good number of years now. A few decades, in fact.
Indeed, yeah. I think it's always been a very vibrant scene. I've really enjoyed being a part of it. So gigging really regularly is definitely a part of that. I have been joined now by a couple of more colleagues. I had a band called the Red Bears in the interim, which was a collaboration between myself and Carl Dawson, who is the guitarist from Goldwater.
Right.
Another very cool Leicester band. Check them out, they're amazing. But he used to say that the Red Bears was all his softer songs. So we would put out the songs with a band. I mean, it's lovely performing on your own, but sometimes in order to put on a bit of a show, it's really nice to get a band together, and that band was sort of interchangeable in relation to the musicians that were included in the lineup, so we could really pull in some of the best talent in Leicester. So it was always really good fun, and from that I managed to get the trio that I now have, which is myself, Howard Smith on lap steel, and Anita Lindley on backing vocals. She's got a beautiful voice and used to sing with us with the Red Bears.
Right. So Anita, I take it, is the one that's mostly harmonising with you on your latest album. Is that correct?
Yeah, on the whole, I record my own harmonies because I record it all at home myself in my little studio here. But on a few of the tracks on that album, it is Anita doing the backup vocals. I don't know, I don't think of her as a backing vocalist really. She is definitely, like another singer on the track. She really makes it her own, but also she manages to very cleverly just match my intonation, and she's really quite a talented singer herself. And in order to do some of the very high stuff live, it's really nice to have someone who finds that much easier than I do.
Certainly, yeah, that sounds brilliant. We're going to play, because the next song we're going to play, I noticed presumably that's her harmonising on Illuminating. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, we'll play that in a moment. But before we do, so Hand Grenade Love that we've just played, can you tell us a bit about that? How did that come to be there, Sally?
It was a bit of a cautionary tale, really, about maybe stories that people have with themselves, the lies that we tell ourselves, the years as they pass by, and what you should maybe take from that. learn from your mistakes, things like that. It was actually came from a conversation, as many of my songs do, with a couple of friends here sitting around drinking tea, and we were talking about what was the most unnoticed moment in film history. And I've always thought that one of the saddest moments in film was when they blew up Alderaan in Star Wars. I think there's one shot of it blowing up, it cuts to Princess Leia going, oh, and that's it.
Wow.
And you can I remember crying as a child because I was quite little when that film came out. And, I remember thinking it was just so sad. They just exploded an entire planet and nobody'd really commented upon it. So I always thought that was one of the most understated moments in film. And so it's a bit of a nonsense story in a way, but it brings together both conversation and experience from the time.
Right, brilliant. That sounds awesome. I would have watched that, and you're right, I don't remember it, but I'm sure it was great. To be honest, there's very little I remember from all those years ago. But yeah, great stuff. Okay.
Don't worry, they then go and blow up the Death Star, so they take immediate action.
Well, that's all right then. So would you say, is there anybody in particular that inspires you then, Sally?
I think I'm inspired by my very creative friends. And as I said earlier, the art scene in general. I think I take a lot of inspiration for things like film and imagery. I'm a photographer and I teach photography and video. So I think often I'm writing about a picture I've made or seen, or an image that I've noticed and thought, oh, why hasn't anybody said this about that? Or I mean, like the Alderaan thing, it's like, why was there not more attention paid to that moment in time?
Did nobody notice? Yeah.
Nobody noticed. Or it's the tiny things, I think, sometimes that I find maybe witty or silly or very serious, or that upset me just a little bit, so that I am moved to write a song about that tiny moment. And I think I've always been inspired by those kinds of small things that other people don't necessarily notice.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the Alderaan reference is in there, because that's kind of what that song is about. Those small events that you realise you've done and maybe think about later and go, oh no, it's going to get me in trouble, or oh, I shouldn't have said that, or oh dear, I hope that hasn't hurt someone's feelings, or the tiny things about moving in and out of other people's lives that you do create an effect, or you have no effect at all, and the only person that you have actually affected or inspired is yourself.
Okay, without any further ado, let's play Illuminating. So here's Illuminating by Sally Hossack.
It's not obvious what's up with the kids. Must stop wondering how everyone is. I'm dressed up to pass this thing around. Lights off, don't leave the little ones on the ground. I couldn't lose your train of thought, 'cause it would break my heart. I shouldn't bear the weight of all your blues. Take time to lift the little ones up. They'll take the time to shine like lightning, illuminating the sky. I choose to stay right here and now. We'll lose if we don't get some ideas now. My hands can't guide the playheads here. A light stands up close and oh so near. I couldn't lose your train of thought, 'cause it would break my heart. I shouldn't bear the weight of all your blues. Take time to lift the little ones up, and they'll take their time to shine like lightning, illuminating the sky. It's not obvious what's up with the kids. I must stop wondering how everyone is. Dressed up to pass this thing around. Lights off, little ones on the ground. I couldn't lose your train of thought, 'cause it would break my heart. I shouldn't bear the weight of all your blues. I love it when the little ones rise up, and they'll take their time to shine like lightning, illuminating all they are.
That was Illuminating by the amazing local singer-songwriter Sally Hossack, who is this week's extra special guest. Sally. Right, so that's the title track from your album Illuminating. Is the album, does it have to be, I'm thinking of what Adele's been saying recently about Spotify. Does your album Illuminating, does it have to be played in a particular order, or can you play it all randomly?
I think you can play it at random if you want to, but I think personally I like an ordered album. I remember albums that I have loved or have learnt, if you see what I mean, over the years. I remember them in order. I know which song's coming next, and I'm singing it before it plays, you know. And I think when you love albums and music like that, I think it's really hard when an algorithm tries to change that order for you. I mean, some of us musicians are quite specific in the ways that we are, you know. I think order is one of those things. Like, not only are we sequential, but we are, you know, chronological and quite sticklers for the way in which we have made and created something to be heard. So well done, Adele, because I think that needed saying. And I think, Tom York in the past has criticised Spotify as well. And I think, you know, maybe some of the online internet platforms need to learn how people love to hear their music.
And also, like you say, though, some albums tell a story from beginning to end, don't they? So each song needs to tells the next part of the story. So they often need to be played in the order. They call concept albums. Yeah,
the new Easy Life album is very much like that. It tells a story beginning to end. And I think if you did, I mean, you know, you can listen to the singles on their own, but to some extent, there is more experience to be had of the album and the band themselves and their experience of life if you do actually listen to it sequentially.
Now tell me about the album cover on your album. It seems to be your shadow in a bicycle lane with a left-only arrow painted on it. What's all that about?
I take a lot of photographs of myself in silhouette, mainly because I've done a lot of traveling on my own, and I think pre-mobile phone, pre-camera being able to flip around so you can take a selfie, that was my only way of showing that I was in a location.
Right, having your shadow. Brilliant.
Yeah, that is actually me on the way to work. Having flown back from New York at like 10 o'clock at night the night before with the most crazy jet lag. But I was very proud as well. And I'm always very happy when I'm proud. And I think a lot of artists are actually, it's something that motivates us, that pride. You know, I've done something cool and now I'm back and I'm going to make an album and this is it. And it was a very bright, light morning in February of 2020. Actually, we just made it back from New York pre-lockdown by a week.
Wow.
So we were very pleased that we made it there and back safely, and managed to take 28 students to New York to experience the wonders of America. We saw a lot of art, took a lot of photographs, and actually I was proudest of that one. But if you have a look at my Instagram, which is at Sally Tunes, you'll see many silhouettes of me as I go through, many of which were tagged to give a bit of a sense of mood and place to this album. So Illuminating 2020 as a hashtag that you can have a little look at if you want, and you'll see many shadows of myself in various different locations around the world.
Brilliant. So we've spoken a bit about lockdown. What's life like? I mean, I was going to say post-COVID. We're pretty much still in COVID. But what's life like for a musician now as opposed to before COVID, pre-COVID?
I think at first we all thought lockdown would be short-lived, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I think I spent quite a lot of time making plans, rearranging plans, rescheduling gigs, as any music promoter in Leicester will also have experience. After a while, it got a bit sad making plans that weren't going to happen. And I think rather than cry, it was better to sort of not make any plans for a bit and just let the pandemic pass, which is why I began recording the album, because we had loads and loads of gigs planned that summer. And I think I knew that we wouldn't get to do any of them. So I was like, right, we're just going to record this album then. We'll release the album at the end of the year, and at least there will be a creative output from this year. We didn't really realise then that it would be such a, the year that it was. I mean, I carried on working from home immediately because obviously I work at a university, so we went straight online. Obviously, apart from going a little bit insane in the house, bouncing around, my cat has been actually very helpful. He's probably a little bit bored of my songs, but still enjoys them when we rehearse. So I think what's difficult now is getting back into the habit of making plans and booking gigs and booking, rehearsals regularly and that kind of thing. I rehearse every Friday with Howard, which is great because we both need a bit of an outlet for our music. We both used to be in about 3 bands all of the time. So that's like 3 sets that you remember and practice all the time. And those rehearsals and having gigs really does keep you in really good practice. I think my first gig back after lockdown was really strange because you don't realise the things that you are just practiced in from gigging. So like people moving around the room or people distracting you while you're playing or looking at something shiny or, I was distracted and put off and not as confident. I wasn't communicating with my performers like I usually do with my eyes. And it's those kinds of things that we get out of practicing. And I think it's been really nice to be able to get back out there and perform with a new confidence, because I know now that I have really, I have lifted what I do to a level that I can take out, and I'm proud of that. It's good. Yeah. And as I said, we are happy when we're proud as musicians.
And the fact that you've been rehearsing regularly then, like you say, gives you a certain amount of confidence that your performance is going to be good, so you've got your confidence in your performance.
Yeah, but I think when you are confident in your performance, it means you can actually enjoy the gig rather than worrying about it. And I think we really enjoyed the last gig we did, which was Access All Areas number 2, which was organised by Luke Broughton at Duffy's, and we raised a lot of money for a homeless charity, The Bridge.
So anyway, have you got any plans for the future, Sally? Are you releasing are you working on any new albums or any performances? What's coming up?
I'd really like to launch the album that we wrote during lockdown. I mean, obviously it wasn't written during lockdown, but it was recorded. And obviously we haven't done a live launch of it. We have done several gigs with some of those songs, but I've never played the whole album in order out to a audience. I really, really wanted to launch that on the date that we released it last year, so we could call it a year on. But I can't do that, unfortunately. It's just not possible to do it this year. But that will be our next up and coming idea, hopefully. However, we have also written, not recorded yet, but it is written, a new album of songs where actually, rather than them just being my songs, Howard Smith has written most of the guitar parts, and I've put lyrics and structure to those. He calls them doodles, but I have to say the man writes with great structure. Right. So a good ear for a chorus. I think it's really amazing working with musicians who have worked with a lot of musicians, because they have such a way of developing ideas and laying them out again sequentially. So so that's coming together. We've got about 13 tracks that we will obviously pick about 10 from and get that recorded as soon as possible. But I'd really love to launch Illuminating at some point.
Launch Illuminating, so because it's been released, so what's the difference between releasing and launching? You mean having a launch party?
Go and play it to all my friends.
That's it.
Like all the way through.
Oh, I see. So how can people find out more about your material and when this this launch event might happen? How can people find out about it?
I promote myself through Instagram and Facebook, just like others. Pretty well labelled as Sally Hossack. I've got a website as well, sallyhossack.com, and both albums are, well, there's actually 3 albums on both Spotify and iTunes. So there are 3 albums out there that you can listen to if you wish to, sequentially or not.
What's your Facebook handle?
It's Sally Louise Hossack.
Okay, so it's been great chatting to you today, Sally, and finding out about the lady behind the music and the music itself. And so let's play you out. Let's play your last song for today, One for the City. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this is a song about Leicester, our beautiful fair city, Semper Adem, where nothing ever changes. I always think of this song as a bit of a cover. It's actually not. It is totally original and my song, but it came from reading a magazine article about Tom Waits and how he always used to say that the main secret of a love ballad about anything is to include a place with a name and something to eat. And if you listen to any Tom Waits songs, there is often, the girl from Illinois or the kid from California, and they're eating burgers and fries or hash browns over easy, or, coffee was so weak it just couldn't defend itself. Or there's always references to both a place and something to eat.
Right.
I just thought that was the most beautiful sentiment to write a song. I wrote a song about our city that I love. It was also about a friend who just returned, and he actually did ask me to move his shoes to the sun because I was lying in the garden in the summer, and his shoes were in the middle of the garden drying, and obviously the sun moves around because I live in a terrace. And he was like, "Do you think you could just move my shoes to the sun each time the sun moves?" I was like, "Yeah, no problem." It's such a bizarre thing to ask. He's always, I think, like many Leicester people, he's incredibly independent as well and doesn't often ask for help. And I think that was just such a beautiful thing to notice about Leicester, but also people from Leicester, that were quite proud and quite independent, that to write a song like that about our city seemed very, very relevant to me.
Brilliant. So thank you very much. And here's One for the City by Sally Hossack.
Will you move my shoes to the sun? I need them dry and I can't ask no one. I've been walking to places I used to score, down the London road, past the Chinese store. Will you move my shoes to the sun, so they're warm if I need to run? I've come home to a place with a different face, and I'm not sure I know anyone. I couldn't feel my roots in the place to where I was displaced. But now that I feel it, I know for sure I've come home to find some more. Shoes from the shade and make use of this beautiful day for the love of the useful one. leaning, we share nothing's wasted there. And it's a home for sure. All I want and more, some kind of tiny bars to keep away from. I followed city's dreams from a magazine, a place with a name to believe from. Will you move my shoes to the sun? I need them dry and I can't ask no one. I've been walking to places I used to school, down the London road, past the Chinese store. Down the London road, past the Chinese store.
That was me chatting to the amazingly talented Sally Hossack with an incredible voice and very interesting to chat to too. Okay, so now I'm going to play, we're going to have something a little funky. This is Zamrish, who are a family band. They're an Irish-Zambian family band featuring Sean, who we often play on this show, electro, poppy stuff, which is great, and his mum, Abby. So here's Zamrish, Funky Back Teo.
Yeah, yeah. I'm bringing funky back. I'm bringing funky back. I love that funky, funky sound. I'm bringing funky back. Yeah, I'm bringing funky back, funky back. I'm bringing funky back. I'm bringing funky back, funky back. I'm bringing funky back. Yeah, I'm bringing funky back. I'm bringing funky back. I love that funky, funky sound. I'm bringing funky back.
That was a nice funky tune to end today's show on. That was Zamrish and Funky Back Tail. That brings us to the end of this week's live Local and Loud. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to listen to any previous live Local and Louds and our interviews. You can check out musicinleicester.co.uk, and on the right hand side there'll be a link to all the podcasts. Also, don't forget, if you want to see what's coming up in the local music scene in sunny Leicestershire, we've got a very handy gig guide in musicinleicester.co.uk. So that's it from me for another week. So have a great week, and I'll look forward to seeing you next Thursday, Hermitage FM at 5 o'clock.